Okay, so first off, anyone new to the channel, here is the schedule for this week. I've had a crazy past few days, lots of long hours and stuff, so I haven't had a chance to fully dive into some of the wrestling stuff that's happened, like Triple H, for example, taking over the creative, or ROH, for example, their Death Before Dishonor show. So, today, Fight for the Fallen review, which is what you are watching now. Hopefully, potentially a WrestleCrate. If it arrives today, there should be a WrestleCrate video up later today as well. My Death Before Dishonor review will be out Friday, and we will have SummerSlam on the weekend, hopefully coming out Monday. That is the plan thus far. We'll see how it goes. That was a bit of a scattergun intro, almost as scattergun as Tony Khan's booking of AEW. Oh, spicy take right there. Hit the intro. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Ewan McQuaid, and today we are talking about AEW Fight for the Fallen, another special edition of Dynamite right here. These are getting a bit too close together for my liking, all these special shows, because there's not really anything that differentiates them, in my opinion. Not set-wise, not match-wise, not storyline-wise, anything like that. It's very weird, these shows. I think they should be spread out a bit more because they're sort of losing that special feel. But Fight for the Fallen is here. We've got Fight for the Fallen now. We've got Fight for the Fallen Rampage. I don't really cover Rampage because nothing sort of interesting happens on that show. Nothing interesting has happened on Rampage since CM Punk debuted. Fight me over that. But let's talk about this show. So, I thought this was a very, very solid episode of Dynamite. Great in-ring action, good storyline progression, good character work. But for me personally, the way these shows have been structured is off. I think that's my main issue with AEW at the moment. Well, two issues. I've got two issues with AEW at the moment, and I think the booking, the sort of structure of the show, is a big one for me. I feel like having the Danielson main event was a bad call because of the women's championship match. I feel like the booking of the women's division in general is not very good across the board. If you're having a women's championship match, it should either open the show like the interim championship does, or it should close the show like the interim championship does. So having it in the designated women's match spot, I think, is very telling of how they feel about women's wrestling, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable because the last time the main event was I think the cage match, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. It's not good, really not good. It didn't sit well with me, the women's championship match being in that sort of toilet break spot, because that's sort of what that spot has been treated as. And my other issue with this show, I know I'm just diving straight into the negatives, I haven't done a full show breakdown, but the JAS feels like it's getting oversaturated now. There's more people joining, which again, some of them are directionless, like Anna Jay wasn't really doing much with the Dark Order. But you look at the segments that they were in, we got them in the opening, we then got Daniel Garcia promo, we got the Sammy Guevara Dante Martin match, we got the main event. There's a lot of show that is taken up by JAS, Blackpool Combat Club stuff, and I think we all really loved the Blackpool Combat Club going against JAS, but I don't think it's worked out the way we thought it would. We wanted to see that dichotomy, sports entertainers versus pro wrestlers, and I don't think that's what we've got so far. It's mainly been built around Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, which seems to be continuing for some goddamn reason. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very oversaturated with the JAS. I'm getting a little bit of go-away heat with the group. But maybe that's just me. Let's just dive straight into the show, though, right now. Now I've got those big negatives out of the way. I might dip into them in a little bit. But the show opened with Jon Moxley taking on Rusev for the AEW Interim World Championship. Really fun match, this. Rusev had a great match at Death Before Dishonor against Dragon Lee. That was an absolute, classic, maybe. And he had a great one here. I like that the character trait that Rusev is really embodying is overconfidence. And overconfidence is his downfall. He spends too much time posing, doing the twirls in the ring, doing his, you get the bull. No, you get the horns. One of the two. And it came to his downfall. It was his downfall in the end of this match because he was dominating Moxley for a lot of this match. It really made him feel like a credible threat, which is pretty good for a guy who's only had about 3 matches on TV. Some really good near falls in here. And Moxley won eventually with I think it's the Death Rider. The Death Rider sort of goes over. It's more of a suplex. And yeah, he won. Moxley won. Great stuff. Forwarding all the sort of momentum that Moxley's got. And then, yeah, after the brilliant match, I thought maybe we get a tease of Andrade. Andrade did come in, do some interference. Maybe we get Andrade versus Moxley at Quake by the Lake. Quake by the Lake, I think it's called. Another special. My God. But yeah, JAS come out and Jericho sets up a match at Quake at the Lake for the AEW World Championship. Moxley versus Jericho. Again, it hasn't been oversaturated, I think, because they've only had, I think, that one-on-one match in AEW, the one from Revolution. But it feels like they've been in a feud for a very, very long time. Well, it's been since Double or Nothing, really. And it's a bit stagnant for me at the moment. I hope this is the end. I don't want to see Moxley versus Jericho main event All Out, but I have a feeling it will. I feel like there's going to be some sort of finish at the end of this, maybe interference, DQ, something like that, and Moxley Jericho will have some sort of stipulation match at All Out. That's the way I see it going, but Moxley cut an insanely good promo on Jericho. I thought it was great. Really good stuff. And then from out of nowhere, there's 3 belts sitting on the announce table. And we get the announcement that the Trios tournament for the Trios Tag Team Championship is happening. I was like, oh, okay. I thought we might get, something a bit more than just a graphic saying the tournament starting. But yeah, Trios Championships are here. At what point is AEW going to burst with belts? I don't actually know, because there was no TNT Championship on this show. There was no TBS Championship on this show. There was very minimal All-Atlantic Championships on this show. So who knows? Who knows when they'll reach max capacity and the belts will just implode and create a black hole in the centre of AEW. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm very excited for the Trios stuff because the Trios matches are always banging. So I feel like, yeah, might as well add them. Why not? Then we got a Dante Martin promo where he's taking Sky Blue to the ring to sort of back him up against Ty Conti that Sammy Guevara has in his corner. Then we got Ricky Starks taking on Danhausen. This went as long as it should have. Danhausen got more offense in than he did in the Tony Nese match, but he eventually lost. Starks hit a spear after a great video package. Really well done, sort of well shot video package. Yep, Danhausen gets speared, 1, 2, 3. And then Ricky Starks saying, yeah, he's still got some more in the tank. Let's go. Bring someone else out. Crowd are chanting Hook. I think we all knew Hook was coming. And Hook comes. They send Hook. He comes down to the ring. And he beats Ricky. There's a few good near falls. He gets hit with a spear. Starks nearly hits the Rochambeau. But Hook, gets him in the red rum. Makes him tap, and we have a new FTW champion. I think this is a really good move for Hook, putting the FTW championship on him, and I want to see him hold that for a very, very long time. I want to see him holding other belts while having the FTW championship, because you have something in Hook there. You really do. And yeah, can't wait to see what Hook does. I hope he does some stuff, because he's been a bit neglected on AEW TV as of late, but I hope he does some really good stuff. Then we got back from the break, and Ricky Starks cuts an amazing promo. An amazing babyface promo about how he's ready and he's hungry and he's held the championship for so long. And then boom! Powerhouse Hobbs clobbers him in the back of the head. The noise that made was insane. And it really took the crowd off guard. Took me off guard quite a bit, because I didn't think they'd split. Honestly thought Swerve and Lee would split before Team Taz. And yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs turns on Starks, meaning we're probably getting a babyface Ricky Starks, which I think is what we all want, because he's he's been an underutilised player. He's only sort of now bubbling to the surface again, and I can't wait to see what he does going forward. He'll be in this, hopefully he's not stuck in a never-ending loop of Team Taz feuds like everyone else ends up in, but I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Ricky Starks does. He could sort of slot in to that main event scene. The next match we got was Sammy Guevara versus Dante Martin, two very, very big high flyers in the ring doing flippy stuff, and it was great. Dante Martin really impressed me in this match. I thought he showed more charisma and energy than I've seen from him before, because a lot of the time he's sort of lingering with a sad face, but here he was being cocky. He was, taunting Sammy Guevara. He did the crazy thing, the crazy taunt, did the spin on the floor. It was really good stuff. And then he did this insane, he went for a dive, jumped on the top rope and did a backflip, and then we ended up with a stare down from Sammy Guevara. Oh my God. It was great, really great stuff. There was this insane backflip from a back suplex from the top rope, which Martin landed on his feet. And the finish came when this was a bit awkward because Sky Blue's out there. She's not stopping Ty Conti from chatting shit to Dante Martin. She's just standing on her side of the ring. While Dante Martin gets distracted, I thought the whole point was that, Sky Blue's out there to stop him getting distracted, but it is what it is. And he goes for a springboard moonsault. He moonsaults back, lands on his feet. Then Sammy comes in, does his springboard cutter. 1, 2, 3. Well, hits the go to, I can't remember what, reverse GTS. I can't remember what Sammy calls it. And then gets the 1, 2, 3. And it looked like he really clocked him with that knee as well. It looked nasty. This was a really fun and exciting match. I really like this. The post-match saw Sky Blue get in the face of Sammy Guevara as he went to do a further beatdown on Dante Martin. So I think we're getting Sky Blue versus Anna Jay and maybe Ty Conti as well, because Anna Jay came down to make the save for Ty Conti. So we'll see. Some interesting stuff bubbling there, but again, a lot of JAS on this show. Then we got a Daniel Garcia promo. Daniel Garcia is an amazing promo, and it just his facial expressions and the way he talks are captivating. Absolutely captivating. Really hyped up the stuff for the main event. Then we got another promo. Best friends talking to Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. It seemed like they were hyping like a dance battle, but I think this is going to be a 6-man match with Sanjay Dutt actually getting back in the ring. So, yeah. Be interesting to see. Although it's happening on Rampage, which I don't think many people watch, which is a shame, but, it is what it is. There's a lot of people and not enough time. Then we got Jungle Boy coming out with Luchasaurus. It's good to see them back together. I'm not sure I would have done it this quick. It seemed like they got nervous and sort of pulled the trigger on the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus thing straight away. But this promo from Jungle Boy is one of the best I've seen from him ever. I think turning the cards on Christian Cage was really great. Bringing up the divorce, calling him a pussy. Some of the jabs were just great. And I think it's one of them things you don't really see that much anymore, especially since MJF has gone, sort of the deep-rooted personal hatred of some of these feuds. You don't really get that much. But I really, really liked this. The only bit, I was a bit iffy on 2 bits of this. So, the reasoning for Luchasaurus turning good, in that he was saving Christian Cage for Jungle Boy, it's a nice way to sort of spin it, that he's come back to the good side so quick, but at the same time it's a bit contrived. I wasn't too fond of that. And the other thing is, I would have just let Jungle Boy cut his promo. He was cutting a really, really good promo, but Christian gets in and interrupts and sort of has the last word. I would have saved that for next week, or maybe on Rampage, because this should have just been a to-camera promo from Jungle Boy and then gone off with his music. I think it would have been fantastic. You didn't need that Christian Cage bit in there. That Christian Cage bit, I think, could have been saved for Rampage or next week's Dynamite. But overall, this is probably my favourite feud in AEW. I can't wait to see where they go. The way I think it will go, I think it'll have to be Jungle Boy versus Christian in a TLC match. I don't know how they're going to. I don't know if they can say tables, ladders, and chairs. I don't know if WWE and the copyright to that. But yeah, that's the way I think it should go. I think this should end in a TLC match, and I'm really excited for that. Then we got a Young Bucks promo where they're in the sort of parking lot and they're walking. They've only just found out about the Trios Championships, and they're like, oh, that looks interesting. They turn the corner, and Hangman Page is there. They have a little interaction till the Dark Order come down, and they sort of spoil the meeting of the old friends. This is really intriguing because they weren't really doing that much with Hangman Page. So to see him sort of be slotted into that feud and potentially join the Bucks after, it's long-term storytelling because they allowed him to win at the end of the day. They allowed him to win the AEW World Championship at Full Gear. And it's never fully been addressed. So I'm really excited to see this. And potentially, I think Young Bucks, Adam Page versus the Undisputed Era. I think that's the way it's going, personally. In the finals, can't wait. I can't wait to see where this goes. This was probably my favourite segment on the show. Then we got the handicap match between Swerve Strickland and Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. I'm not going to go too much into this. This is a bit of silly nonsense. I'm not really into what they're doing with Swerve and Lee at the moment. I think they need more credible challenges than it looks like we're getting. The match itself was fine. The kick at the end to Mark Sterling was great. One of the best I've ever seen. But that's not enough to save a pretty generic segment and a pretty generic story. I'm not really into Tony Nese and Josh Woods potentially going for the tag titles because they were both holding the tag titles. I think there's way more deserving teams that could be slotted into there, like Butcher and the Blade, Gun Club, the Acclaimed. I get they're all raveled in their own thing, but even if they're not doing anything, they could be slotted in. I'm not too into this. Sounds like a Rampage main event to me, but we'll see where they go for All Out. Wasn't too fond of this. I thought this dragged the show down a bit. Then we got a sick House of Black promo with Malachi Black chatting Miro. I can't wait to see Miro versus Malachi Black. That's going to be insane. And Brody King's still hyping on Darby and attacking him everywhere. Challenges into a coffin match. I would like the coffin match to sort of stay a bit more of a special attraction because I feel like I just saw one recently. Can't remember with who, but I feel like I saw one recently. And yeah, I would have rather them added a different stipulation to this rather than a coffin match. But the promos were great. Really great. I'm really into this stuff. Now, excuse me if I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Next up, we got Thunder Rosa versus Mio Yamashita? Something like... Apologies, it's something like that. This match was really fun, but again, my issue with this comes from the placement of it. Even if you have to treat the women's division with some sort of, I can't remember the word, some aspect of dignity. You can't put the women's championship match in this slot. The women's championship needs to main event. It needs to open the show, not just be slotted into the one place that women's wrestling seems to go, and that is the second to last match on the card. And JR can say on commentary, you've got a double main event. I call BS on that. I do. This should have been the main event. It should have either opened or closed the show. I don't know why they didn't do that. I really don't. But the match itself was really solid. It played off some of the stuff they had from Japan. We saw footage of that they had really good chemistry there as well. Really good stuff here. The crowd struggled to get into it a little bit, but again, I feel like that's because of the booking of the women's division, not the women themselves. And Thunder Rosa, hit the driver 1, 2, 3. I want to know where Thunder Rosa's going because I'm hoping it's not Britt. He's got the tag match next week. I'm hoping it's not Britt Baker again because there's a lot of other people that can challenge for that belt. But it is what it is. Fun match, just bad creative. And finally, we got the main event, which was Bryan Danielson's return match against Daniel Garcia. This match was cracking. This was a really solid main event. I Again, I don't understand why it couldn't have been placed somewhere else on the card. Again, it's Danielson's return match, but still, fun stuff. Really fun stuff. I like the psycho killer vibes that Daniel Garcia gives off, and some of the kicks and strong strikes in this were insane. They were really, really great. And yeah, just really fun match overall. Danielson got busted open from a DDT on the exposed floor. So I think playing up a lot of the stuff about concussions and a lot of stuff with head injuries, they're talking about how he landed on his neck, how he landed on his head, which again gives me mild anxiety watching him wrestle, but it is what it is. And shocking result here, Daniel Garcia won. Jake Hager tripped the leg of Bryan Danielson, and then Garcia got in, he wrenches back on the sharpshooter, and it looks really painful. Danielson doesn't tap, he passes out, but a huge, huge win for Garcia. This made Garcia look amazing, especially coming off his loss at Death Before Dishonor. He looked great. He really looked great. And then Jericho comes down and the JAS celebrate. So yeah, overall, I thought this was a really fun show. It was a fun show, but I think there's a few clouds, a few overhanging issues for AEW as a whole that are sort of dragging the product down a little bit for me. But overall, I'd give this 3.5 out of 5. I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below about the show. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know everything down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.